love. Whole heap of them we said them know popcorn. Them never know the place I was. People we know the real struggle me feel. Are people like Squid and Cause. This music business like a battle to me. So much hatred and grudge. But in the midst of all his enemies, try you keep me firm and strong. Bad mind and jealousy just get defeat. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Give me the energy me need. Try you keep me firm and strong. Unruly keep winning by enemies, yeah. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Strong already. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Me no friendly with the media. Everyone already know. Some people go believe everything them see on TV. Everything them hear on radio. Them see how with your thing I hit them one. Them plan up how fi take it from you. God now go vex if I'm gun me draw. Empty I'm a keep on you. But in the midst of all his enemies, try you keep me firm and strong. Bad mind and jealousy just get defeat. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Give me the energy me need. Try you keep me firm and strong. Unruly keep winning by enemies, yeah. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Strong already. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Them no want to see we happy. Them no want to see we make it out. Oh, why do some photocopy? The most power them gain is with them out. All who a try stop papi, that a sitting when me do. Billions fi not nice, billions fi trace gold. Get the youths fi make it and no be ungrateful. Big house pan the hill, you know a button gate pull. Pretty gal a give me wings like Red Bull. All I and the pan me waist, you know say every clip full. You can't trust the dirty, them very skillful. Now in the midst of all his enemies, try you keep me firm and strong. Bad mind and jealousy just get defeat. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Give me the energy me need. Try you keep me firm and strong. Unruly keep winning by enemy. Try you keep me firm and strong, yeah. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Strong already. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Give me the energy we need. Try to keep me firm and strong. Unruly keep winning my enemy. Try to keep me firm and strong, yeah. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Strong already. Strong already. Strong already, you know. Give me the energy we need.
It is the 1873 FM Sandon Express morning show with your host, it's Nashim Pasiri. And if you just tuned in, well, thank you for making the 1873 FM your channel of choice. And yes, this is your platform for open, frank, and honest conversations in as far as shaping and defining the character and personality of the kind of future you want, the kind of future I want, the kind of future that we all want collectively. And talking about that future that we all want collectively, joining me this morning in conversation happens to be Craig Tapeni. Craig, a wonderful morning to you, and thank you so much for giving up time to be on the 1873 FM this morning.
Well, thank you, Tanashi. It's always a pleasure to do something for you guys.
Well, it is indeed a pleasure to have you on the other end of the line, and more importantly, so that we can just have a conversation, particularly when we look at the power of storytelling, just telling our stories, sharing our personal experiences as individuals, and getting to share insights, and more importantly, exchanging ideas as to how best we can be able to use platforms such as radio in accelerating towards the future that we all want collectively. Craig, you are no stranger to the 1873 FM. I remember very well in some time back in 2018, you were part of the conversation on the radio platform. And more importantly, apart from being a participant on the radio platform, you have added your voice on various issues on this platform as well. And this morning, I understand that you have actually a beautiful story that you'd love to share with our listeners this morning. So maybe we could just kick it off from there, particularly when you look at your journey and the role that the 1873 FM radio platform has played in as far as accelerating you towards that destiny you are headed to.
All right. We first met you and I in 2017, by the way, at National Schools Quiz Championships, if you remember, in December 2017, at Pearson. So at Pearson Institute of Education. Then after that, we were in touch. Then there was a time when there was a show called 1873 Net Galaxy that was hosted by ENP and Mary Mills. So one day I just had this desire and drive to have an intellectual conversation. Then I just decided to call into 1873 FM. So through serendipity, what they were talking about was a topic that's close to my heart. They were talking about Pan-Africanism. And so then I just contributed the little that I knew, because I was just, fresh out of high school with no background knowledge with no thorough knowledge of economics, thorough knowledge of politics and stuff. I was just, an 18-year-old kid. Then, surprisingly enough, two people said they were interested in what I was saying. And at my age, they said, okay, we want to meet up with this kid. We want to, to package him into a full package. We want to give him a thorough understanding of what he really needs to do. So by that time, I had a tough. So by that time, I really, all my life basically, I was searching for a solution for Africa, for Zimbabwe and stuff. So I was at a point where I was at loggerheads, asking myself, should I go to university, or should I just find someone who knows what I want to do and can mentor me through the process? Then through serendipity, and 1873 FM happened to be my stepping stone. So then I met the people, and for the past 2 years, we've been having conversation with those people on phone, on WhatsApp, meeting up and stuff. Then I was actually having lectures on the phone. We'd talk for 3-4 hours a day, learning national transformational science. And then it was like within 8 months from last year to the present day, I wrote a book on what needs to be done in Zimbabwe finally, through the help of people I met on 1873 F.
Well, that's very interesting that through the conversations that you had with individuals, just starting off from a conversation on the 1873 FM, you have been able to write a book. And many a times you look when you look at us as individuals, you realize that really do we actually tell our stories of what we've actually gone through, and it is in that story that we tell, other individuals can also be inspired. Other individuals can be ignited to say, okay, Craig had that moment he had to share just he had to add his voice to something that was very close to him, that was dear to him, and that is the issue of pan-Africanism. And you realize that oh, too often we are reluctant to adding our voice on issues that matter. And you are one such individual who is concerned about his future, and particularly his future in the country of your country of your birth, which happens to be Zimbabwe, and what needs to be done in as far as securing the future that you want, or the kind of Zimbabwe that you want. So that being said, Craig, when you look at the role of media, do you think that a shared understanding exists as to the role that media can actually play in as far as accelerating towards a future which is more inclusive, which is more progressive, which is more prosperous, when you look at the journey that you have gone through?
Yeah, I think media is actually a powerful medium, but media can actually change things, and be part of development when media is not polarized and media is not created to benefit in someone's self-interest. When media is just independent, and it's reporting the story as it is, and it's giving voice to the voiceless, and it's literally calling everybody regardless of their social standing in society. Because one thing is that some of the media houses won't even give someone a voice unless they're a big name. So the journalist will call the journalist, or the host will call someone with a huge name, the same people over and over again, speaking the same ideas all the time. But they don't look for they don't look for the small fish. They usually look for the big fish, to have their numbers up. But if the media really goes to the forgotten corners of the world, I tell you, the media literally play a very powerful role in changing the world at large.
Oh, that's very interesting what you actually raise, that most of the time when it comes to media, and more importantly, the individuals who happen to add their voices to media, when it comes to those individuals who happen to be in the media space, particularly the journalists and so forth, they look for all these big names, and they tend to showcase these big names so that they can be able to drive their numbers. And rarely do they actually look out, look for other alternative voices that can also have alternative ideas that can help us to progress. So that being said, in as far as that aspect where you find out when it comes to journalists, they seem to not project that all those positive stories that are also being propagated by individuals who actually don't have a name. How best do you think that at the end of the day we can be able to also train a journalist that can report positive stories on those individuals who, through their little actions, are making a difference within our communities, so that these communities are more, the individuals in these communities are more tolerant, and they are more inclusive in their approach towards one another?
Well, I think I think it's just the broadcasting policy of the thingy of the company that journalists follow, and these are the radio hosts and stuff. Because if because usually people are intimidated that if you don't report this way, you're going to lose your job. Then people think about the bills that they have. People think about all the problems they have at home. Then they're like, okay, what does it matter for me to give the voiceless a voice when I'm not going to get paid at the end of the day? So I think it starts with a broadcasting policy, and also I think those in the media usually have to. I think you, for example, as in you've been doing media for a very long time, so you could actually look for. I mean, people are really passionate about media at a very young age. I mean, mentor them, groom them, that media is not just about the numbers. It's not a game of clout. It's basically a game of spreading a message to the people. Because when I was in media, I when I used to have my own talk show, what I did was I really looked for because I was doing with I had a show that dealt with the future of Africa and Zimbabwe. So I didn't really look for people already in the political game, or people who already like big names. I look for the students, right? And I look for for the 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, the student leaders and stuff, because I understood that they are the ones who are going to inherit the future. They're the ones who are going to be the policymakers in the future. So they need to be given a voice now, so that we know what their intent is at an early age, so that we don't get to know them later on. Or what if someone has an idea but they don't have a proper LinkedIn page?
Yes.
What if they have a great idea and they don't have a voice? They don't even know how media works. They don't even have a Facebook account. There are people like that who really have information, but they don't even use social media. So those people need to be identified, because I believe that's a role of media, to identify and report,
Basically,
and
to
not to identify
identify
and
and to
suppress.
showcase such individuals
Exactly.
so that their work can be out there.
Yes.
So, I mean, Craig, without taking much of your time, I know we're running out of time, but it's been a very interesting morning. Yet, that's so far just having a conversation with you. That's you sharing your personal experience, and more importantly, just sharing your testimony, which is what is needed many a times, that people come on such platforms and be able to share their testimony. You mentioned that you have written a book, and it's yet to be published, on what needs to be done in as far as securing the Zimbabwe that you want. So, I mean, briefly, talk to us in as far as this book that you have written, and what the ideas that you think are worthwhile sharing in order to secure the future that you want when you look at this geography called Zimbabwe.
All right. Firstly, it's firstly, I spoke about the need of an inclusive national vision, right? Not a party vision. Because you see, the problem is we having what they call patriots, not patriots, right? Where people actually think about their party more than the nation. So I wrote about having an inclusive national vision economically, because Zimbabwe does not have an idea. So it's basically about having a leading idea into the future, and the concept of intent of what we need to do exactly to get there, to achieve what we want, right? Because if you look at it in a more like natural way, Zimbabwe is like a bus where people have different destinations. Like, we are in one bus. The driver doesn't know where the bus is going. The people don't even have a destination. Someone wants to go to Chipinge, someone wants to go to Gweru. It's just chaos. It's a national disaster. Then in it as well, I actually try to show the world in Zimbabwe that we really do have Zimbabweans who know what needs to be done in Zimbabwe, but they are not given a voice. Their ideas are suppressed. And the other thing is, I actually also um, I actually wrote about what can be done to mitigate the crisis that's in Zimbabwe right now. We have a crisis like that cash shortage crisis in Zimbabwe right now, where people queue for money in their banks, and after they queue for money in their banks, there's no money in the bank, but it's reflecting in their account. Then they go to the EcoCash, then they are charged exorbitant fees by the EcoCash agents to get. So they basically buy their money. To get it, right. It's a crisis. I also wrote about what needs to be done on mitigating even what's happening in the health sector, all the crisis that's there. And I also wrote about what I imagine Zimbabwe could be in the next 40 years, if we really adopt a transformational project that's led by Zimbabweans, not politicians, but by Zimbabweans.
Okay, so I mean, when can individuals actually expect this book to be published, if I may ask?
Well, my goal is to publish it on the 18th, to have it published by the 18th of April. I just thought it was just a thought that I had, because I just looked at it like this way. It's 2020. Zimbabwe is now 40 years, after 40 years from in independence. And if you add 20 and 20, you get 40. And 2020 is just a unique year. It comes once in 100 years. So I just wanted it to come on the day of independence, right? Because I thought maybe it might free some people from the old thinking that we have, that the party is going to bring change to us for us.
Well, this is very interesting, and I must say it's been a really pleasure speaking to you this morning, and you just sharing your personal story, and how radio has actually played a pivotal role in accelerating you to be able to put your thoughts, to put your experiences into a book that can be shared with many others, so that they can also be inspired to share their stories. On that note, Craig, I definitely look forward to more conversations with you, such that we can be able to build this community where knowledge is shared, where ideas can be exchanged and contested, so that we can be able to secure a future that we all want collectively, a future which is inclusive, which is progressive, which is prosperous. And on that note, I must say thank you once again for your time and for your testimony. And I do hope that the work that you are doing, the stories that you are sharing, may inspire many other young individuals to be the change that they want to see, and for them to know that they don't have to wait upon anyone else to lead them where they want to go, but they can actually lead themselves to that destiny where they are going. All that they have to do is make use of what is available to them, in as far as communities where, or platforms where knowledge can be shared like this, and where issues can be discussed without boxing one another, but contesting those ideas.
All right, thank you, Tinashe.
You have yourself a lovely day further.
All right, thank you.
Okay, goodbye for now. So yes, that was Craig Tapeni. Craig Tapeni happens to be an individual who has written down a book based on his personal experiences and his thoughts and ideas as to how best as individuals we can be able to secure the future that we all want collectively, particularly zooming on the nation of Zimbabwe. And he was just sharing his personal testimony as to the power of radio, how it managed to ignite him to write this book. And if you have also a story to share with us this morning on the 1873 FM, please feel free to make use of the 1873 FM's social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram, just to tell us your story. You never know who could be inspired by it. You never know who could be, what it could ignite. It could ignite the idea that could transform that challenge that could be faced in a particular community to be something that is a positive. So on that note, we go on a short break and shortly inspire your day with Pastor Prince Chike. So tell a friend to also tune into the 1873 FM, and let's get to share these stories and inspire many others in doing so. Good morning, King Matope, and good morning, Takunda TK Chiradza. Glad to know that you are tuned in and you are following this conversation. On that note, as we go on the short break, sounds of Popcorn, the Unruly Boss, with a track titled Silence.
What should you tell when you are buying you? Be more careful, though you can find dinner. I know anybody pour my drink, I know anybody buy my dinner. So hard for just your enemy, hard for just your friend. Just your friend. Me nah lie, me love me family, but me not trust you all of them. All of them might sound fuck up, but that's how me feel. Big up and rule, cause up a sunny kneel. All of me long time brother from Teachfield. Long time petro them a whole heap on the battlefield. Some of them are filled with grudge. My dogs are the realest dogs, and my heart clean, filled with love. And me meditation sharp like studs. Dangerous call, even them send me say the whole of them a miss. Go for the Psalms, them a send for the chalice. Them does a watch me like a radio analyst. But me unstoppable, remember me tell you this. In the music I'm like a fucking senator. Them are the fucking janitor. None of my link no regular. Mad sick, head no good like predator. What should you tell when you are buying you? Be more careful, though you can find dinner. I know anybody pour my drink, I know anybody buy my dinner. So hard for just your enemy, hard for just your friend. Just your friend. Me nah lie, me love me family, but me not trust you all of them. All of them.